College football has been around for a long time and is one of the most watched college sports on TV. The sport has become more than just a game with the involvement of traditions, rivalries, national championships, and even widespread gambling among fans. Due to this, more and more kids dream of playing football in college. However, this glamorous lifestyle is far from reality. Before deciding to play football in college, it is crucial to know exactly what kind of lifestyle these players live. This leads to an important question. What exactly do these players endure on a daily basis? This ethnography will discuss the challenges, risks, and rewards of playing football in college. In order to get the most accurate and up-to-date information on this community, I chose to interview 3 students that play football in college. I made sure to ask questions pertaining to the topics found in the secondary research in order to compare and contrast the information with that of the interviews. The first to be interviewed is Kenneth Red.
Let me get 2 thighs, 2 claps, and a Ric Flair. Ready, go!
Kenneth is a friend of the interviewer and was interviewed over the phone on March 6, 2019 due to long distance. He is currently enrolled at Urbana University in Urbana, Ohio, and is playing football there as a wide receiver. He plans on spending another year there before transferring to Bowling Green State University to play at a higher level. Kenneth was asked about his schedule during the season, as well as the physical and academic stress that came along with it. He stated, "My schedule during the season is tough. I start every day by waking up at 6 a.m. for morning workouts. Shortly after, I go to my first class and then study before practice. After practice, I have a brief film session and then another class. Every other day I have to fit a tutoring session in there so that my grades allow me to stay eligible to play." Although keeping up with his schedule is a challenge, it wasn't a surprise to him. He mentioned that he knew exactly what it takes having to juggle school and football and is used to the hustle of being a student athlete. He then went on to explain that there definitely is added stress as a result. He feels that it was a lot easier to get good grades in the off season and that he felt much better physically. Also, the combination of workouts, practices, and games resulted in being physically sore every day. He stated that practice is extremely physically demanding, especially when the pads are on. This statement directly supports the findings of Kerr, Hayden, Dampierre, and Cohen that hitting during practices can cause more physical stress than during games in their research about the physical stress of playing football in college. Next up is Chris Brown. Chris is a friend of mine from high school and was interviewed via cell phone while he was on vacation on March 7th, 2019. Chris played football at Olivet Nazarene University last year, but had to stop playing it in order to focus on his academics. His desire to be in the medical field outweighed his desire to play football, so for him, it was an easy decision. When comparing this statement to that of my secondary research on the topic of challenges, Lindo, Swenson, and Waddles claim that big-time college sports are a threat to academics due to a variety of reasons, aligned directly with the statements that Chris and Kenneth have made. Chris was asked about his physical health throughout his entire football career. As a running back, Chris endured a lot of physical abuse throughout his middle school and high school career. His position required him to constantly take hits to the body and make quick maneuvers to avoid players, which can be physically demanding. He further went on to explain how constantly making these quick maneuvers can cause joint pain in the knees. Chris has suffered a few knee injuries over his football career. Most of his injuries occurred during games, which contradicts the findings of Kerr, Hayden, Dampierre, and Cohen that most college football injuries happen during practice. The most important thing to take away from this is that injuries are a huge risk when it comes to football and can sometimes be life-threatening, career-ending, or can even affect you off the field for the rest of your life. This is a crucial thing to consider when deciding to play football in college. Here are a few examples of promising players that suffered career-ending injuries. I will warn, however, that these injuries are very unpleasant and advise anyone who feels uncomfortable viewing these to look away right now.
Corner blitz. Got it. Kenyon Drake has it. Goes left. Looks for a block. That will be close for the first down. I think he got it. And Drake holding.
That run is scary. It looked like he hyperextended his leg as he stuck. Watch him try to get it.
Yep.
Oh, no.
DeAndre Brown can't come up with it. Good coverage. Chris Bowles
have to go.
Watch this. Watch this. Total focus.
Oh, hit the leg too, and the fans in the stands reacting as well as they're watching on the screen in the stadium. Patrick Edwards, freshman from Hearn, Texas.
He's the best cover corner, but Jimbo is telling us, watch the left leg when he comes down after going up into the air. Right there.
Senior.
Next up is Ian Casey. Ian is a lifelong friend of mine, and he was interviewed at his residence on March 8th, 2019. During high school, Ian was the quarterback on the football team. He played on varsity as early as a sophomore and did very well. As a quarterback, he didn't endure nearly as much physical contact as every other position. Because of this, he has led an injury-free football career. He now plays at Concordia University in Ann Arbor, Michigan. In hopes of gaining insight on the pros of playing college football, Ian was asked about the advantages of playing football in college. He states, "I think the biggest advantage is that I get to go to college for free. Also the fact that I get to make lifelong friends while staying in the best shape of my life." He mentioned that tuition is $28,000 per year to attend Concordia. Fortunately, he was offered a half academic, half athletic scholarship which covered his entire tuition. He also stated, "I want to go into finance, so I take my grades seriously." With hard work, he plans to take advantage of the opportunity he has in order to get a degree in a well-paying field. His free college tuition supports that of Beaver 2013 that found college football can provide numerous opportunities to students during his research on the future of football. It's evident to see from my primary and secondary research that football players are oftentimes rewarded scholarships.
Hi, Nana, it's Mom. All your hard work and dedication and devotion has not gone unnoticed. So congratulations. You have been offered a full scholarship.
There's a lot of deserving guys, okay? But I want you to give these guys a warm welcome as they now have full scholarship.
You two are guys that both have holds, right? You don't have holds, Tyler? He didn't call your name yesterday? Well, that didn't come back. Did you?
Yeah, I thought I took care of it too.
Well, we're taking care of it for you. You guys got full scholarships.
To conclude, in order for young athletes to decide if they want to make the big commitment to play football in college, it is extremely important for research to take place on the lifestyle of this community in order to show what that commitment entails. With that being said, further research on this community is necessary in order to provide young athletes with the most accurate information in order to inform them of what this commitment entails. There were, however, several limitations that I experienced in this research project. The most obvious limitation is the fact that the sample size was extremely small, and as a result, the data collected cannot be applicable to a large population within this community. Also, all three of the interview participants were close friends with me prior to the interviews, potentially creating a bias. Lastly, the time available to conduct this research project prevented a more accurate and in-depth study to take place. In order to improve on these limitations, one can simply increase the amount of participants by interviewing entire teams or a large amount of players. They would also need a lot more scholarly sources to effectively and accurately compare that information with the data from the participants, leading to a better overall comparison with even more topics. Obviously, for any of this to occur, one would need a lot more time to fully conduct their research.